This is Philadelphia Eagles Now. Chase Senior here with you. No matter where you are, how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. So many fantastic content options out there for people who cover the Eagles, regardless of the medium. So anytime you decide to hang out here with me, I'm greatly appreciative of that. Coming up here on the show, Howie Roseman, the Eagles general manager, is an absolute gangster, and Eagles fans are lucky to have him as the guy who's running this organization. And anytime you as a general manager become a meme and there is an AI photo generated of you with the ski mask on and you have the nickname of Ski Mask Howie, you know that you're one of one and you know you're doing something right. And we're going to go through all of this here on the show. I do want to begin here, though. Let your voices be heard. Here on this show, it's a platform where you can always be loud and you can always have an opinion, just like me. If you think Howie is the best general manager in the National Football League, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you don't think that's the case, and that's fine, we can disagree, I want you to comment why. I'll keep my eyes peeled on the comment section. So I've been around Howie Roseman over the last couple of NFL combines in Indianapolis. I've been around him and interviewed him at the last couple of Super Bowls. And one thing that has stood out as I was putting together this show, and when I've been at the NFL Combine, Howie Roseman, compared to the other general managers across the league, always draws a massive crowd. Why is that? Obviously, there's a lot of interest in the Eagles. They're the fourth largest media market in the country, and they have a daily 365-a-year demand because people in Philadelphia are devoted to this football team. They're passionate about this football team. They love this football team, and they want to hear about this football team. But people who cover the NFL are the ones who attend events like the NFL Combine, or they attend events like the Super Bowl. And so this isn't a fan-related thing where people crowd around Howie Roseman's podium to talk to him. These are media members, and people crowd around Howie because they want to hear from a brilliant football mind, and they want to hear from the man himself what his team-building strategy is, because he's had so much success as an NFL executive. And I think also there's this. Howie is very nice. He's very gracious with his time. He is very personable. He has a good personality. He's willing to crack some jokes from time to time, and he'll take all types of questions and he'll expand on his answers. And I think people really appreciate that when they're interviewing him. But I think people, whether it's media members or fans, people who keep tabs on the NFL and the Eagles, they find Howie Roseman to be very relatable. He's not a former player. He's not some jack dude who's physically imposing. He's a normal-sized guy. He never played football, but he grew up always wanting to be a general manager in the New York area. He went to the University of Florida, and he's infamously known for being in his dorm room, always studying to one day be a general manager. This was his passion. So like you, like me, like a lot of other people, he climbed the ranks in this industry, and he wanted to be a GM because of his overall love for the game of football. And Howie Roseman's path is also a relatable one that a lot of other people can relate to, as far as going into an industry, starting at the bottom, and working yourself up. This is a pretty incredible run here for Howie, and he's literally been with the Philadelphia Eagles since he got out of college at Florida, as he's a Gator, the Gator Chomp. Shout out to the Gator fans out there. And he doesn't know anything other than the Philadelphia Eagles. He started in 2000 as a front office intern. 2001, 2002, that's when he started to get involved in the salary cap. Obviously now he's gotten to a point where he's mastered it and he knows the rules and the intricacies so well. 2003 to 2005, he becomes the director of football administration for the Philadelphia Eagles. 2006, 2007, he rises up to become the vice president of football administration. 2008, 2009, pretty good gig right here. You're getting close to being a GM. He was the vice president of player personnel. Then he becomes one of the youngest general managers of all time. 2010 to 2014, he became the Eagles general manager. Then Chip Kelly banished him got rid of him from the general manager post and had him move his office to the other side of the facility. And so from 2015 to 2018, he became the executive vice president of football ops. He didn't go anywhere else to become a general manager. He stayed with the Eagles, Jeffrey Lurie's right-hand man, and obviously Jeffrey Lurie deserves a lot of credit for giving Howie the leeway to do what he does. And then from 2019 on, he's been the executive vice president of the Eagles and the general manager of this ball club. And it's pretty crazy to think back to what happened with Howie and what transpired during that Chip Kelly regime. Chip comes in, and a lot of what we see for offenses in college football and the NFL right now are thanks to Chip Kelly. But he is not a beloved figure in Philadelphia. And he comes in, he has a winning record year one. The Eagles lose that home playoff game to the Saints, and Chip is acting as though he's the king of the city, right? And that he is going to run this organization. He didn't really agree with Howie because Howie had never really played. He looked at Howie as a numbers guy. And so he got rid of Howie as the general manager. I'm not sure how he had that say with Jeffrey Lurie, but after Howie got banished, after his office got moved, he becomes GM again. Post Chip Kelly, Jeffrey Lurie went back to him. That's their long-standing relationship. And Howie returned with a vengeance. And now it's to a point where he's the best GM in football. And I think that you can make the argument with how he does business, how he makes moves, the value that he extracts, the understanding of the salary cap, and how he just operates as an executive. He might be the best GM in American professional sports. NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL. And now, after winning 2 rings, he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. We're talking about a guy who is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Executive of the Year. And here's where things get really interesting and impressive, frankly. He's won 2 different rings with 2 different head coaches and quarterbacks. Think about how hard that is to do. Usually when you win Super Bowls, you have some organizational continuity at head coach and quarterback. Not for Howie. Wins one in 2017, wins one in 2024 with different head coaches and different quarterbacks. That's highly impressive. And think about the teams that the Eagles have beaten in their 2 Super Bowl wins. Super Bowl 52, Super Bowl 59. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And what you love about Howie is his team-building strategy and the way that he goes about roster construction. And I want to talk more about this coming up just around the corner, so don't you dare go anywhere. We're going to continue to have a fantastic conversation, but in the meantime, let's get to our sponsor. Our friends at Ridge, making today's Philadelphia Eagles now possible. I've been using the Ridge wallet over the last couple of months. It's been a game changer. It's durable, it's sleek, it's easy to use. You can put as many as 12 cards into the Ridge Wallet 2.0, and it's made my life so much easier. I always love telling you about products that I actually use myself. And for a limited time, Ridge is having their huge Black Friday sale. Head to ridge.com to get up to 47% off your order. This is by far the biggest discount they've given all year. That's ridge.com/chat for up to 47% off your order during their biggest sale of the year. After you make your purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them that Philadelphia Eagles Now sent you. Now, why I like the Ridge, my old wallet got to a point where it was so big, it became a giant crusty leather brick. I also hate having too much in my pockets. I don't have to worry about that with the Ridge 2.0. It's 10% lighter. Every gram matters in the Ridge Wallet 2.0. They found the perfect balance. They made it more modular with improved cash straps, money clips, and AirTag attachments. I also really like the design with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, carbon fiber. It holds up to 12 cards plus cash. There are plenty of options too. You can get a Philadelphia Eagles Ridge wallet, or they have over 50 plus colors and styles to choose from. You can even get a wallet that features every NFL, Major League Baseball, or college team. This is perfect for holiday gifting, especially since Ridge is having their biggest sale of the year right now. Over 100,000 5-star reviews. This is proof that Ridge is a gift that people love to receive. And they obviously have options and products outside of the Ridge wallet. Also, losing your wallet, it's the worst, right? But with the Ridge Tracker card, you'll always know exactly where it is before panic mode kicks in. Perfect peace of mind for holiday travel and gifting. Going to put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of today's Philadelphia Eagles. Now, we appreciate Ridge for making today's show possible. All right, let's continue to talk about Howie Roseman here. What we know, right, is that he's the most aggressive general manager in the National Football League. Arguably the best GM in all of professional sports. He has mastered his knowledge of the salary cap, which is what goes into the brilliance that he exudes and displays with his team building strategy. And so routinely, so often, he's able to fleece other teams on the regular and get good value. It now has come to the point where you look on Twitter after he makes a move and people who cover the NFL very closely, fans alike, have said, why do teams do business with Howie Roseman? His contracts are very player friendly. Why that is important for agents and for players in free agency. Philadelphia, because of how Howie does business, how he puts together these contracts, the culture that is put in place by Howie, by Jeffrey Lurie, by Nick Sirianni, by Jalen Hurts, and others, the Eagles have become one of the top destinations in pro football. And year in, year out, Howie does everything that he needs to do in order to improve the football team. It doesn't matter if it's a top 10 player or if it's 51 to 53 on the 53-man roster. If Howie can make a move to bulk up the team, whether it be for a star or for depth pieces to help out the coaching staff, he's going to do that. And again, you have to give thanks to Jeffrey Lurie for allowing him to do that. Another underrated thing is that Howie is smart and savvy. He has very good foresight, and he can kind of predict what's going to happen, right, as far as markets go. He always gets ahead of these contract extensions. He signs players early as compared to late. The benefit of that is that sometimes you can get players for 60 to 70% of their market value early compared to if you wait, then you have to overpay for that player because all these other teams are paying those players and it skyrockets the price tag. Here for the NFL trade deadline, think about what Howie did. He didn't wait until right before the deadline for other teams to make moves to dictate the asking price or the market. He traded for Michael Carter a week before the deadline. He traded for Jair Alexander on the Saturday before the Tuesday deadline. Bright and early on Monday morning, he traded for Jalen Phillips, knowing that other teams were going to be interested in trading for a pass rusher. And the great ones, whether it be in sports, whether it be in business, whether it be in life, fitness, whatever, they have a similar mentality, right? They're never content with being good. They always have that consistent pursuit of being great. And that's Howie. And a reason why I wanted to do this show today, and a reason why I put this together in this manner, and why we're having this conversation, is partially based on what Howie said on Tuesday after the NFL trade deadline about the moves that he made, but specifically when he was asked about rumors about him trading for Myles Garrett or Micah Parsons. Now, he did joke during the Jimmy Kempski question, are you trying to get me fined? Because he can't specifically talk about players. But what Howie can do is talk about the philosophy and the thought process. And here's what he said about him going big game hunting and being willing to give up multiple first-round picks for star pass rushers. Quote, I feel like when there's opportunities to be aggressive for the right players, we're not going to sit on our hands. I don't think that you have great success without taking great risks at times. They've got to make sense in terms of the risks that you're taking. We can't be afraid to fail. I think for a lot of times, for you to get to the top, you've got to be willing to take chances that may look controversial at times. If there was an opportunity to do that we thought gave us an opportunity to be the last team standing and put confetti on our heads, we're going to be aggressive in that direction. I just feel like that's the right way to operate our team. That doesn't come without mistakes. I understand that, but I won't live with regret. I won't live with regret in the way that we operate around here. if we feel passionate about something, if we think that the value's right, we're not going to be afraid to pull the trigger. Obviously, he's talking about football there, but you can translate that to life and business. If you have personal goals and you feel passionate about something, a relationship, you can go about it in that manner. Just incredible stuff from Howie Roseman. And because he said that, this is why the Eagles always can have a competitive advantage with him as general manager. This is why the Eagles are looked at as the cream of the crop and the model organization in football right now. This is why they've got an opportunity to have sustained excellence with their football team as well. And I'm just spitting it off the top right here. You think about all the times that the Eagles have made the playoffs of late, right? 2017, 2018, 2019. Missed the playoffs in 2020. But they've been back in 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. That is going to the playoffs every year since 2017 except for one. Other teams across the NFL would die for that. What's that? 7 of the 8 last seasons that the Eagles have made it to the postseason. And so I'm picturing Myles Garrett here because the Eagles this offseason are going to continue to be tied to players like that. Why? And why do I talk about trade rumors on this show? Because Howie is always looking to make moves like this if he believes that it makes the team better, because he's always willing to be aggressive, because he knows aggressive businesses win, aggressive teams win, and when the Eagles have been aggressive, they've had that confetti on their heads. And that quote kind of went viral on social media. Here at Chat Sports, we have a bunch of people who cover different NFL teams here. And I saw a couple of people here, and obviously a couple of people on social media who I don't know, saying, why can't our general manager operate like that? Why can't our GM have that type of mental process? So, Howie Roseman, I love you. Eagles fans should love you too, and we should really appreciate and admire what he's doing, but also don't take this era of Eagles football for granted, because what we're witnessing right now is a very special stretch of Philadelphia Eagles football. Be sure to give me a follow on X and Instagram. You want to reach out, let me know what you thought about this show. You can find me at Chase_Senior on X or IG. Massive platforms over there, reaching millions and millions of people here on YouTube and on social media, talking about the birds all the time.